Laura, you believe that police forces up and down the land are at breaking point.
Yes, I do, and very much so. I wouldn't have come out like this if I didn't think that was the case.
I mean, that's what I suppose people are thinking. You know, most of you are handing in your resignation, you send a letter or you go to HR. Why did you decide to do it so publicly?
Well, I went in and had a meeting with my sergeant, and I brought my letter in there with the intention of giving it to Sean Sawyer, hoping it'd be passed on my behalf.
Who's the chief constable?
The chief constable, yes. And I spoke to my sergeant, and we had a couple of phone calls with HR, and I very much was like, I asked him, do you think he's actually going to get this? And he just said, no, I don't think he is. And then, so if I were you, I'd send it to him personally. And so that night I came back and I thought, right, now I've made it official and handed my resignation letter in. I thought I'll tell my colleagues and my friends, you know, what are my reasons for doing it. And because I wanted to explain that I've not abandoned them, but I had no choice. It was making me so poorly, and it was just basically, I just poured my heart out to them to say thank you ever so much, and I've still got your back, even though I'm not on the front line with you, really. And then with the influx, the amount of people, I can't get over how many people are saying, good on you, can't believe you've done it. I wish I was in the circumstances that you were.
And this is, you say that, you know, when you resigned from a job, there was no kind of exit interview, and you felt it was important that the Chief Constable knew why, your reasons why.
There was no
you felt
exit
so
interview, which goes and proves in this day and age, and I think a lot of people, whether they're a teacher, whether they're a doctor, whether they're a member of the armed forces, whatever your job is, people feel increasingly undervalued. There was no exit interview because you're not valued. End of story.
Very much so. When your sergeant says to you, well, it's OK, you can go. You're invited in to go and do a questionnaire. Come on the force system in your own time. Come in, fill in the questionnaire on the computer. What was good and what was bad.
Well, look, if they haven't got enough staff to investigate crimes, they ain't got enough staff to read why you have resigned from the force. So instead, what we'll get are weasel words from weasel politicians who will do absolutely nothing about this. And we've got the budget next week. And do you know how high I think policing will feature in the budget? Not at all.
No.
Not at all. Because social services, not that it shouldn't, but social services will feature in the budget, and they need money, and they're not going to give it to doctors, and they're not going to give it to prison officers or police officers. So what is going to happen to the country if politicians don't wake up to this?
It's going to be as bad as what you think it's going to be. We're in a state now where things are so uneasy with immigration, etc., and everybody worried about what's going on. How can we just need to look after the individuals that are in this country? It doesn't matter whatever, and we're not going to be able to do that. So you need to look after the people that need to look after the country, basically.
You say the job made you so ill. You ended up with depression and anxiety. What was it? Was it one particular thing or an accumulation of things? It was
an accumulation of things. I just think it's only so many times you can go, what's happening about this? Are we going to have more staff? I never knew how many people were going to be on. It could be down to 2, we could have 4. But even, I still don't understand how 4 to 5 people covering the whole area of mid-Devon is acceptable. If you ask a member of the public, how many people, police officers, do you think are covering your area right now? And it's always in excess of like 30, 40, and that's them being generous.
And sometimes it was 2.
And it was 2. Sometimes.
You know, people wonder why the world is going the way it is. And if you continue to get politicians who ignore things, for instance, they will not spend money on prisons.
We desperately need prisons.
But people would pay extra for prisons. People, if you put them in their income tax and said, will you pay a bit of extra? And they'd say, yeah, we'll do that. Would you pay extra for police? Yeah. Your fire service? Yeah. Whatever. Your armed forces. Ellie Farrell says the police's hands are tied. They have no voice, unlike other public services who have the right to strike and be heard. It is so wrong. Do you think if officers could, they would strike over this?
Yes. Wow, yes, definitely. But that conversation is had all the time. Don't forget that what I will say is that what the police service, the ambulance service, including the prison service, where there are so many people that are keeping the wheel on. So you are still getting a good service. The people out there that I know are fantastic, and they're doing the job fantastically. But
do you think they're being exploited somewhat, though? Because it's a vocation. I mean, for you said you'd always wanted to be a police officer. Your father was a police officer. You joined at 19. So do you think they take advantage of people like you, knowing that, you know, it's very hard for people to walk away from a vocational job.
Very, very much so, and it's a really good wage down in the southwest as well. So we hold on. They get you like that, and the pension, the way we've been treated with the pension and the cuts is just disgusting. But like you said, we can't strike. But at the same time, when you're going out there and you're going to keep the wheel on because it's people's lives in danger. You don't know, and they definitely exploit that. That's my main bugbear, how they just kind of go, we've got to make it work. And we do, because you're not going to go and see a member of the public or your colleagues or anybody getting hurt because somebody wouldn't give you many police officers.
Was your life ever in danger, do you think, because of lack of staff? You know,
I think any day you go out dressed in a uniform, your life is in danger.
Yeah, even down to the fact that you've got, like, say, for example, because you're blue lighting from one side of the patch to the other, so 35 minutes sometimes. And at 3 o'clock in the morning, when you're the only, you and one other are on, and you're blue lighting here, there, and everywhere. Not only in danger because of the job and circumstances, you're absolutely physically drained.